Well, parental alienation is usually it's a small part of an extremely destructive dynamic that exists within a family. And it usually comes out when there is breakdown within the family, when mum and mum, dad and dad decide they have to split up. But what I want to be very certain about is that there is existing psychopathology in one of the parents already. It's always been there. It doesn't just pop out of nothing. It's already been there in the relationship, but things were probably very good. Things were probably very stable. So it was sort of in remission in the parent who was suffering from it. Then when the stress of a relationship happens, what tends to happen is it explodes outwards, and there is an effort to keep the children from seeing the other parent. A great deal of that behaviour can be completely unconscious. And what's very poorly understood is that children absorb the true emotions of their parent through the neurological connection that they actually have with their parent. So you don't need to say to a child, your other parent is a horrible person. You don't need to say that. Their body language, the micro expressions on their face, their tone of voice is absorbed by children up to the age of about 13, when you start actually tending to look at things more externally. But what we're talking about here is what is generally termed intuition, because you read people. We read people. You read the hatred in your parent for the other parent automatically. There's a great many people who are so upset when the split happens that they are so incredibly hurt that they think, it's not right that their, ex-partner should see the children, they're not paying maintenance. They were never nice. They were horrible to me. And so they may keep the child back. Now, with these parents, usually if you go in and you show what's happening and you put in the right some sort of resolution, then you're going to do okay on that. But then there are others where the psychopathology in the parent will just drive it on, and nothing that can be done can change that situation. And if you go in and just say, well, this family needs therapy, what you'll find is they'll say, well, it's the children need therapy. It's not. This is a problem between parents. It is not the children. The children are the ones that are being harmed. The harm actually already can exist within the family already. And in some cases where the alienation is so bad that maybe one of the parents has not seen their children even for years, the harm continues because of the existing psychopathology in the parent that is still resident. That harm still continues. And so that's something that is very poorly understood and ignored, which is why we've got to address all these cases very, very robustly. If you're absorbing your parents' hatred, that's something that's very scary, especially for little ones, because you don't know why. How can you possibly understand an adult world where the people that you love above anything else suddenly hate each other? How can a small brain, a little brain, because they are little brains, they're not adult brains, you don't get an adult brain until, funnily enough, you're an adult. So you are trying to understand the world equipped with a brain which doesn't actually have all the component parts to understand that. And children will put their own explanations on it. Or children become depressed. A lot of children I see are depressed. And the point about childhood depression is it is not like adult depression. In adult depression, you may go and crawl into a cave and not talk to people. Children can't do that. Children have to go to school. They have to speak to people. So everything is internalized. There are other children whose behaviour breaks down. The internal distress of not seeing their parents together, not understanding the situation, results in what's called acting out behaviour. And at which point you can get the narcissistic parent believing that must be ADHD or autism, because the problem can't possibly be to do with them. So they have to medicalise it. And at which point you have these false diagnoses being given that follow children through their entire life.